This hat it's a classic style of hat. It's just a formula for a hat that's easily adaptable and can be made by anybody. And conceptually, you can understand it because it's a rectangle. If you don't understand how to knit, you don't have to try to, realize what any of it means.
It's like, oh, are cat ears too hard? You're like, no, let me tell you.
So it's a rectangle like this, folded, and then when you put it on,
these like ears,
little ears pop out.
Yeah, you could style it a bit more.
Yeah,
like so. I think Hillary's defeat was really stunning for me and for a lot of people.
November 8th was the election, and we were here within 48 hours.
A lot of people that were disappointed with the results of the election were feeling really almost just so shocked and desperate.
When news of the Women's March came up, I knew immediately I would go. And I was trying to think of something I could do, like what I could wear or what sign I could hold up, because it's just such a visual world. I just figured one picture could just like spread throughout like the world, It occurred to me that it'd be really cold in DC. I thought, well, I'm gonna need a hat. I'm such a beginner knitter, especially meeting like the really advanced knitters here at Little Knittery. I know this for sure. I was like, oh wait, like Kat could help me write this pattern, because I've never written a pattern before. And that's when I got bigger from just me and what I could wear, what sign I could hold up, to be like, if I could make this hat, anyone could. I had been really actually inspired by cat ears. I was thinking pink because I wanted to see that sea of pink, but what is the meaning of it? Kat was sitting there, she was like, it's the Pussy Power hat. And we were like, oh my God. Like, I think the whole room just went silent, and that's when we knew. It's pink, it has cat ears, and it's called the Pussy hat. I think a lot of people think that it wasn't a direct response to Trump. Like, let's look at everything Trump has said, do some wordplay on like his top hits, and and it wasn't like that.
We structured it basically saying, I'm the person who made it, and here's a women's rights issue that matters to me.
That really had a lot to do with why people were so into it.
It was
the hat, and then the connection from the knitter to the marcher.
It was just amazing to see like all of those notes. Like,
they're very, very touching. Beautiful. I have to say, that's when it really would hit people about how this is not just like making a hat.
Every hat had meaning. Every hat was packed with.
Every hat was handmade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
Every hat was handmade. That's just so amazing.
This is what, like, if you follow the instructions.
We don't have, but I don't have any because we give them all away.
Yeah, they last here about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So we wanted a way to encourage people to send them to DC, and so if you were already going yourself or knew someone, there was that. But if you didn't, like, what options were there? And so we wanted a collection point in DC, in the DC area.
Molly Cleater, a woman that has a business down the street, said, oh yeah, I know somebody in Redstone, Virginia.
She knew someone who lived just out of DC, like about half an hour with a house.
Of course, they agreed to receive a few hats.
Yeah,
not tens of thousands.
Over 12,000 hats within like the first few weeks.
So we set it up so that there were drop sites at local yarn stores across the country. So if people were going to DC, they could take them.
So like 50-some knitting stores.
We had 175 knitting stores that had joined.
Like all.
And then about like 3 weeks before, there was a shortage in pink yarn in multiple states across the country. And it was so
People
cool.
started dyeing their own yarn to just keep up. And the first hat they received was actually from
Did you say Denmark?
Idaho.
Oh, okay.
The second hat was from Denmark.
What parliament was all wearing them? Is that
Swiss Parliament wore them for International Women's Day.
They were knitting them to them.
Yeah,
that was amazing. And then we've seen pictures of a lot of people in Sweden wearing them.
Sweden really has taken on this project.
Yeah.
It's like a peaceful protest, right? So it's not threatening to like police and others, but it's also non-threatening amongst ourselves, I think, to be like, oh, like, this is a non-intimidating way for me to like be a part of things, and lowering the barrier of entry that you don't have to be some like Harvard public policy major to be able to be a part of this. You can be yourself and like seek the local community around you. It's this thing of like, oh, I'm not alone, because it can feel that way when you're confronted with like these Trump decisions or these like alt-right trolls and stuff that like, oh, it's just most of the world. And this pink yarn out there is like saying like, no, it's not. That is not like the majority. That's not the way the world is or has to be. And there are people out there who agree with you and will look out for you too. What I really want to see and help bring into the world is safety for women. And I mean that literally, like when you go out onto the street, like whether it's day or night or whether you're wearing a skirt or pants or whatever it is, like you can be safe and you deserve that, you know? I also mean safety in terms of self-expression too, because I just think so many women are afraid to speak up because of what could happen to them if they're wrong, or they like, you know, or they say it too harshly or too softly or too this or too that. We're so put under a microscope, you know, so I want to change that for women as well, to be like, yes, not only can you speak up, you could speak up again and again, like even if it's not perfect the first time around, you know, then women like can create huge change in the world if they're not held back by these like kind of violent thoughts, honestly, and like censorship.
You know, it really starts with the knitters.
Yeah.
They went crazy over this project, and then that's how it spread.
We didn't want this. This was not the will of the people.
The people that made this happen are not the majority in America.